Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, A.D. Walker, the pusher, the grower, the motivator. So I appreciate you guys rocking and being here with us. Thank you for hanging out and following. Thank you for following along. We appreciate you guys. Just another day. Happy Monday. Happy Labor Day. Hey, Lisa, good morning to you. Thank you for always being a blessing and sharing. Sharing is caring. We appreciate you for being here. Thank you guys for rocking this Labor Day weekend or Labor Day. Hopefully your weekend was well. Some had 3-day weekend. The kids have 4 days. Friday they were off. Why? I don't know. Good morning, Keita. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Cheryl. Blessings from California, up early in the morning. I appreciate you for sacrificing your time or giving of your time just to hang out with us. I appreciate that as well. So make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. So today we're talking about how do you make the right choices, making decisions uh, in your life, making the right ones. But it's crazy because what we may deem as right or even wrong may actually be the opposite. So what we may deem as wrong may have been a good decision down the line, and some of the decisions that we have deemed as right may not pan out the way we expected down the line. So we have to be mindful of that stuff. So we're going to talk about that today, our personal journeys, going through that. Let's see. So I should have my brothers coming through. It is Labor Day, so my gentlemen may be resting, but I think they're coming through. So again, welcome to the Brothers of Legacy. I appreciate you. Thank you for rocking and hanging. Make sure you join our community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. And never, ever miss an episode or miss a broadcast of the brothers. We definitely appreciate you being here, being in this space, being a part of our journey. There's some things that will be happening this month. So stay tuned for that. So be sure to join make sure you join the to text community LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. So I'm talking, just give you the opportunity to share and make sure you tag someone. Tag someone that you talk about making the right choices with. Tag someone that have made choices that seem wrong but turned out to be right. I know you've had most of these conversations we are having. You've had conversations with others, so make sure you do so. So definitely, we appreciate you being a part of what we're doing, being a part of the brothers. And what I want you to do, if you want to take your connection with us to the next step, be sure to go to our website, www.brothersoflegacy.com. I have it in here. I just have way too much stuff. I think I hoard labels and things like that. I just can't let stuff go. Delete. You ever have a problem deleting things? So go to brotherslegacy.com and be sure to be a part of what we're doing in the community. Go to brothersoflegacy.com, hit the be a partner member, and we'll have you in our database, and we'll take your connection to the next level. The next level? The next level. All right. So let's see. What else? All right. So we're going to go ahead, get ready to kick this thing off about making choices, life choices, and the decisions that we made. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. And we're going to get into this. Uno momento. Let's do this. Bam. And again, if I haven't said it, happy Labor Day. All right, we'll be right back. All right. Good morning. And welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I didn't put the new clip in there. I'm gonna have to hear about that later. Hopefully she didn't see that. All right, what's up, Cheryl? Good morning. Good morning. What's up, Mrs. Line? People may not know, like, what are you talking about? Don't worry about it. But make sure you purchase Brother Legacy apparel, as well as go to the website and be a partner with us. Go to, where's it? Find it again. brotherlegacy.com, brotherlegacy.com. So, what up, Rich? What up? All right. So, like I said, make sure you share, make sure you tag, make sure you're getting other people in this conversation as well. Let me do this. Spooky Splow. Make sure everybody's connected. All right. Let's see. All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So today we're talking about how do you make the right choices? Making decisions, right? We're all faced with this or that or the other. We'll get around to. I got you, Rich. I got you this September, man. I got you. I'm putting some stuff together and formulating. Some fit, some don't. But we've covered some of it, but I'll give you a full topic. I'll let you know. You love that introduction. Awesome. Appreciate that. So yeah, sometimes some of the decisions that we make, we're not 100% sure of right or wrong, right? We feel like we make decisions based on feelings sometimes, facts, what we feel like is the either easiest or the most viable, the one that will be good for the group. Some of our decisions, so it's hard to, I know I put, how do you make the right choices or right decisions? It's hard to sometimes tell the right ones is immediate, because you may get an immediate reward, but deal with the backlash later. And we made some of those decisions that felt good in the moment, but in the end, there is a consequence. But yeah, so let's get the master decision maker in the building. All the way from Kankakee by way of California, now in Georgia, my brother like no other, Pastor Brian A. McCrory Sr. Bam. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Indeed. All right. Let's see. So we're talking about making the right choices or right decisions. And
well, I'm the wrong person on you.
But like when I started, and I didn't really think about it till I started talking. I was like, well, a right decision or right choice, sometimes it's hard to tell. Some are just blatant, you're just wrong. But some, it's like you felt like it was right, then it goes wrong. But then it could correct. It's like, well, if I hadn't gone through that, it's those moments.
You're describing Romans 8:28. For
right,
we know
right.
that all things work together.
All things, right.
When God wrote that scripture, He had me in mind.
Right, due to emotion, because He said, never correct to make decisions due to emotion, because the intelligence drops 50%. Yeah, but
well, I would say that there are some emotional decisions that are fantastic.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Because
it's emotion to cheer when your child starts walking.
Right. Right.
When your son hits a home run,
Right. Exactly.
When your child gets an A on their exam,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's 100% emotional, And we know the decision. We get excited. We want them to walk. Then they start walking and walking and touching the things that they couldn't reach before. And then you're like,
and then it's like, now you're going back to the decision to have a child.
Right. What was I thinking?
Oh, man, that's funny.
But yeah, so it's you know, I guess like this, the conversation is just, some we want to make sure. I guess by the end of this conversation, you're just gonna kind of be easy in the decisions you've already made, because in essence, like I said, it always boils down to that Romans 8:28. Even when you start off on the journey or you make a decision, some things, you make decisions. Yeah, I'm right. It's good, and then somewhere just more things come up. Life kind of hits you.
Yeah,
Like you made decisions and stuff that takes a lot of your schedule,
yeah,
but it's like a financial come up, and then you realize the sacrifices that you have to make
yeah,
to be a part of something or a job or whatever opportunity that may be. You realize, ooh, was that a good decision? Like
yeah,
we're not struggling, but my availability, kind of goes away. So it's those moments, those decisions, and then of course, you make the latter, like not take the money. Then we kind of struggling, but I got more time in a particular place. Um, so so Pastor, let me I guess throw this out there. So make it when you're making like certain life decisions, right? Of course we
hmm
pray, of course we consult God. We always know that the foundation. But the fortunate, He speaks, in various ways, and
You
we
say
we
we hope we pray.
right, right, right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, those decisions that you like. I ain't talking to God about this one. I'm gonna just make this one. This is gonna
hmm
be my decision.
yeah,
And whether
yeah,
let the chips fall where they may. But the decision that we do consult, or we want God to bless, or how we get into a space where we're praying that we're making a decision that God is blessing. Like, how do you certain life decisions, right, in the course of your life?
hmm
I guess I guess there's no way to judge if it's right or wrong, because like I said, a right decision can turn what seems wrong and then turn right later. The all things together. Um, but how do you deal with the decisions that you make without leaning on regret? If that makes sense.
that's tough, man. That's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, any decisions that you make are going to be, in most cases, based on where you are.
Slide you in.
There are
What's up, Cole?
How
tough
you doing, AD?
decisions,
Pastor?
easy decisions. How you doing, man?
Doing good, bro.
There's a difference between trying to decide where we're going to eat versus
Mm,
decide, how I'm going to invest for my retirement.
right. Right.
You
Right.
know, the outcome of where I want to eat is going to be based on what I feel like tasting, or, what the food will do to me afterwards.
Right. Right.
Mm,
Right.
That's a temporary thing, but your life investments, that could have catastrophic impact.
Right.
And then whether to be in this relationship versus that relationship, or any relationship at all. you know so it really just depends on what you're deciding on. Is it a decision that has a long-term impact? Is it a decision that has a short-term impact?
Right.
So every decision has to have a weighing of the cost.
Right.
You got to count up the cost
Right.
for anything that you do, anything that you're deciding to do.
Right.
And then, well, that's what you hope.
Right. Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
The
Yeah.
objective is to count up the cost,
Yeah.
whether it's an easy decision or a more challenging decision. But I
Right.
think you have to approach all of them the same way, and weigh it out.
That's
I mean,
good.
just from a fundamental standpoint, I'll pause there.
Right. That counting up the costs. I think it seems like the older you get, the more you realize, you try not to jump into things, no matter how great, no matter how exciting, because like me, I've always been like an opportunist. Yeah, I've been to way too many of those MLM meetings. And realize it's like the same line. You want your freedom. You want to be able to do what you want to do, set your schedule, and make ton of money. come with me to this meeting. You know, like, what is it? Just come to the meeting. You know, sure, I'll go. You know, but you count up the costs. You realize I don't know if I can sell these vitamins. Like, do they really work? You know, like,
Yeah.
you want to pay $1,000 to get in this? You know, like, you know, so it's those moments, and you know, like I said, you know, like there are choices that you make that may seem hard. You know, you paid 1,000, but you may be able to actually sell the vitamins. You know, you never know, but it's counting the cost and knowing that you're making, I guess, not so much right, making a good decision. Like, is this gonna be a good decision? You know, so I think that's the thing, mitigating the loss. You know,
The risk of loss.
the risk of loss. Just like an investor, you know, we invest in our lives, just like we invest in the stock trade. So Cole, what are some of the things that you do, like trying to make the right decision, you know, and good choices?
But Pastor touched on a
And
good
by the way, I
couple
like
ones.
that. I like that in the back. You were like the winner, the champion of Green Peas. That's Cole Johnson.
Thank you, AD. I appreciate that. Well, Pastor said it best. You do have to count the cost, but
Right.
I think also along with it, and it basically alludes in the Bible that, you know, we're supposed to gather wisdom, which means if we don't have it for any type of situation, you normally have to go seek it outside of what you know in order to get it. Now, I will cop to this, being one who thought that he was a know-it-all when he was younger and said bump wisdom, and I know this for myself, and then showed that my father's saying was right when he said that looks like a hard head makes for a soft behind.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I have learned from experience that I don't know every single thing, and I think a lot of people, like I said, I just cop to it myself.
Right.
I think when we're younger, especially when we become adults, we think, you know, that we got a handle on the world because we know who we are.
Right.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, here we are looking at it with more mature adult eyes, and we know. I didn't know a doggone thing at 21.
Right.
Yeah, but it's like you have to be 41 to recognize you didn't know at 21.
Right.
Yeah, you climbed in my brain, bro, because that's exactly what I was going to say next.
Right.
But yeah, it takes the wisdom of actually blowing probably the candles to your 40th, 41st, 42nd birthday to realize, oh man, I really did not know all that much.
Right.
And you seek who people, I mean, you see people who know more about certain things than you almost on a natural basis if you are an intelligent person. And when I say intelligent in this manner, it is from the scripture that says, you know, wisdom is the principal thing, go get it. And all that get understanding. That's probably one of the most intelligent things any of us could do is to understand that we don't know everything, and we have to seek out people who do know something about whatever subject matter I'm coming across and whatever decision I need to make.
Right. Yeah. And I think one thing I've discovered, and you know, the things that you discover about yourself, you realize some people kind of like struggle with still is the accountability for the decisions I make, you know, and no matter how much I try to pin it on somebody else, I had part in this decision. You know?
I just heard Steve Urkel.
Did I do that? Right. Like, and I've noticed like people that like struggle, they're like stuck, you know, like, and number one thing, they can never admit their part in their life. Like, you realize you chose to either stay or chose to either do, like, you don't know, you don't, like, you don't see that part, you know. and I had to come to realize, like, when like you want to help somebody, but you have to come to realize they're not accepting responsibility. So your conversation just like you're not gonna hear. You're not hearing anything I say. Nothing, because you ever been around somebody like, I see the solution to your problem. Like, I see it.
I know Pastor has. I have too.
It's funny.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was listening to Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was having a conversation with Miley Cyrus.
Mm.
And yeah, put those two together in a room.
Right.
Kevin Hart and Miley Cyrus. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has this new platform called Heart to Heart.
Yes.
Yeah. I've
He
seen it.
interviews,
Yeah.
high-end celebrities, A-listers. And he's having this conversation with Miley Cyrus. And Miley Cyrus says, she was a rebel as a young child. Go figure.
Wow.
But she also talks about how she doesn't want to just be a star. She wants to be successful, but she wants to help other people be successful.
Okay.
She says it's never been just about me.
Okay.
Right. And she says one of the struggles that I have, and when she said it, Kevin Hart said, "Man, I just had this conversation with Will Smith 2 weeks ago."
Wow.
But what I'm saying, I'm going to go back to what Cole just said, because it's something we all know. We've seen it before. A lot of us have. She said it's tough to try to help someone when you see how you can help them, but they can't see it for themselves.
Right.
Right. You want it more for them than they want it for themselves.
Right.
And that's the tough part. That's the discouragement, because now you have to think about, you have to make a decision on whether or not you want to seed into that environment. And you have to make a determination on whether that is good ground. You're hoping for the best, right? But what you see speaks volumes that maybe it's the wrong time, maybe it's the wrong person, they got the wrong mindset, whatever the case might be. So that's a critical decision with what to do with your energy.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, that came out of Miley Cyrus.
Wow. Right. But that's growth. That's growth. That's some growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is growth.
But but what's interesting is, you talk about decisions.
Yes.
Something else that she said, which I thought was interesting. She said, like when it came time for her to, when she started Hannah Montana and all this, because again, we're talking about decisions by young people, decisions by us as parents.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She said that she got an opportunity to audition for the show Hannah Montana.
Right.
And her mother didn't like to fly. So they literally drove from Nashville, California.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they
That's a
did
drive.
that, packed up everybody and drove over 2 years. She did 2 years worth of auditioning.
Wow.
When she finally made it, she said, here I am all these years later. She said it like a week ago. I found, my mom keeps everything. She said, I found one of my old schedules that my mom kept for me.
Wow.
And I looked at the schedule and it was like, okay, get in the car, makeup in the car, learn this, do this interview while in the car, get out of the car, go do this show, go make this appearance. And she said she was going back to back to back all day when she was like 14 years old.
Right.
And she said there was like, she saw a block of time, 20 minutes, nap and lunch. She was like, what child at 14 can take a nap and eat lunch in 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
She said, and I looked back on that and I was like, and my initial reaction was, see, that's it. That's how you got to put in the work. If you expect to be where I am, you got to do the work. You got to do the work.
Right.
And then she thought about it for a second and then she got sad.
Wow.
She was like, oh my God, how do you do that to a young child? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And she said everybody was about pushing, getting to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. But nobody thought about the impact that it could possibly have on a child.
Right.
And you wonder how young entertainers end up strung out on drugs, end up in so much trouble, and because they hit a wall, they crash and burn because you're running, and they never have an opportunity to really be a child.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, she doesn't fault her mom.
Right.
She doesn't fault that, for pushing like that, or her manager, or whatever the case might be.
Right.
but she realizes it wasn't healthy. Those were not healthy decisions for her life at that time. And and I'm saying this was like, I don't know when this interview happened. I know it was this year, but within a week of that interview, which is this year, she looked and she found that schedule and was like, oh my God, that was me as a child. And it was wrong.
Wow.
It's wrong. So so parents, our decisions with our children, we have to be very, very careful.
Yep.
In the choices that we make, even for our children. Michael Jackson, 5 kids and different strokes.
Right. That and the Jacksons is as well. But a lot of we do have to be the decisions we make for our children. Let me see something. Hold on. It's slowing up a little bit. All right. But yes, the decisions we make matter as well. What we do with our kids, 5 kids in different strokes, right? But yeah, that's a whole nother that fam, and they've been through, but like and the crazy part, like I get it, like if you have if you have talented kids, you kind of push them to be great, like, listen, I'm trying to get y'all out of Gary. Like, I don't want y'all stuck here. Like he don't want me stuck here. I don't want y'all stuck here. I need y'all to,
to use what Serena and Venus Williams' father.
Yeah,
right.
Richard Williams. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that movie. It looks like it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's our decisions and how they affect others, are big as well. You're right, because we decide, the fate of our children, especially when they're at a young age. What we're gonna push them towards, because we don't want them to give up on their talent, or whatever ability they have. But of course, in the end, it's like, is it healthy? Like, is it good?
And that type of question, you almost, as a parent, have to ask yourself, am I really doing what's best for my son or daughter, or am I doing this because I'm living vicariously through them?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Like, are you trying to really give them an opportunity, or are you doing it for yourself?
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. That sounds like the criticism of Puff Daddy back in the day. Your producer always want to be in the videos.
Oh yeah, Shook Knight.
dancing in your videos.
Yeah. You want to come to a place? You want to come to a record company where the executive producer ain't doing dancing? Be all in videos,
right?
Dancing. Come to Death Row.
Yeah, that was.
But I think about, when I got out of the military, I think about when I left California, when I left Illinois, when I left Kentucky, when I left California again, when I moved to Georgia, these were major decisions,
right?
When I was living in Los Angeles and working, for the church, and I decided, when my wife and I got married in 1998, and we packed up and left LA and moved to Sacramento.
Right.
We made that decision, and when we got to Sacramento, that's when I found my first solid ministry home. After leaving the AME church, I was able to find my roots, get back to my roots in Church of God in Christ, or establish my roots in Church of God in Christ, and it was the launch pad for my answer to the call in ministry, from a theological perspective. Right. I had always worked. I had been working in the church, had done great things in the church through the nonprofit and all of that, but I had never really pursued the word.
Right.
And so that decision ended up changing my entire life as it relates to ministry.
Wow.
And I didn't see it coming.
Right.
Like, I always knew that I was going to be in ministry, because I was always working in ministry, but I didn't know, like, that was going to be the launching pad. So that decision, and then the decision to lead, and then everything was great. We had our challenges and all that, but Sacramento, we were fine. There was, we were good.
Right.
About to buy a house, money in the bank.
Wow.
Wonderful church home, wonderful ministry experience. We were working, we were deep in it. Wife was in the prayer group, and we was having babies, and
right.
My career was great. It was great. And then the Lord says, I need you to move. and it's like why?
Right.
Right. And that's kind of, it was interesting, man. And you have to decide whether or not you hear God.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got to make a decision. Is this God? You have to decide whether or not that's God's voice or whether that's something else, and determine whether or not you're going to respond to it.
Yeah. Right.
Because it's a faith move. And I'm saying I think Cheryl put it in there. She said, it depends on your mindset.
Yes.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Depends on your mindset.
And in that season, my mindset was kingdom oriented.
Right.
And so I had a keen ear to the voice of God.
Right.
I didn't understand why he wanted us to come up out of such a secure and grounded situation.
Right.
You hear me? The year we moved, at that moment, I had made more money that year than I had ever made in a year in my life.
Wow.
Right. We were fat and happy. You hear me? Looking for we were in a house looking for a house.
Yeah.
Right. I'm growing in. Dude, it was
great things was happening.
Everything was happening. Right. My wife was like, I want
popping.
Alexa. She had Alexis, it was great. And he's like, we need to go. And so my wife and I were like, okay, well, where do we go? And we sat and we talked about it. We prayed about it.
Right.
And Georgia was it.
Wow.
We sat, talked, prayed, and Georgia. Why Georgia?
Wow.
Well, Georgia is kind of centralized, and Georgia, from an economic standpoint, it's my career. It's commensurate with what I was getting in California, but the cost of living was lower,
a lot lower,
and it was like nobody came to visit us in Sacramento.
Wow.
Right, but within 2 years of being in Georgia, everybody had been here. We weren't seeing family, and when we got to Georgia, we started seeing family. That's the missing piece, and so so I'm saying
that is interesting.
But we had to count up the cost. We had to weigh it all out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we had to deal with the potential reaction we were going to get from people around us, people who loved us because we were part of a village,
Right.
And we had people helped us with the children. It was we had everything we needed.
Wow.
And so, but thinking back on it now, because I'm telling you, man, and one of the hardest things was having to tell my pastor.
Yeah.
Yeah. We said
that we were leaving.
Right.
And his react, I'm like, I could go through the whole thing, but it's there were so many things that happened that could have caused us to change our minds before we actually made the move. And that's the stuff that you also have to prepare yourself for, because not everybody is going to agree with the decision that you make.
Right.
That's why
or
you
support
have to be
it.
careful who you share your decisions with.
Yeah. Or support the decision you make, whether they agree with it or not.
Or support it. Yeah.
Right.
Certain people will outright rebuke it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And say you've lost your mind for saying it. But if you're not comfortable with where you are, comfortable in your own mind and secure, and grounded,
right.
You're going to be, the Bible says, being tossed by every wind and doctrine. You're going to move by what other people are saying to you.
Tossed to and fro.
Yeah. And so it's really, really important to understand where you are. I think back, a lot of decisions that I made years ago, I see, wow, that's because that's where you were at the time. That's where your mind was. And if your mind was in a better place, you would have made a different decision.
Yes.
That's right. 100.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now I learned in 99.
Okay.
That I got to deal with a future present. You know,
Okay.
in 5 years, I got to deal with a present day.
Right.
You
From the decisions
understand?
you made
And
5
so
years
5
ago.
years from now, if my
Yeah.
present day is going to be blessed, I got to
Right.
be careful of the decisions that I make today,
Right.
because in
That's
5
deep.
years, my today
That's
You'll
deep.
live out that decision.
is going to be based
Right.
on what I do right now.
Mhm.
Right.
And if I want
Right.
my today in 5 years to be blessed, I have to seed into my present, my future present today.
Future
Be
in the
careful
present.
how you
Mhm.
seed into your future present, because you got to
Right.
deal with a future present.
Right. That's
You know?
deep. It's
Yeah.
that's that
100% correct on that one.
that's the moments that you're like, man, this decision is hard. You know,
Mhm.
the the tossing everything that you know, like you ever had that, like, man, this don't even make sense. This don't even make sense. Like, I
Woo. Oh,
can't
man.
believe, you know, especially when you remove the net and the security from your life, you know, just to make a move. It's it's challenging. You know, it's easy to stay in a space where you got all the answers are right here. You know, I got it all. You know, and I have to come to realize, especially I think as believers, that you know, once you get comfortable, I think about Abram at the time before Abraham, you know,
Mhm.
to make the move, like, you comfortable. Nah, I got a job for
Yeah.
you. You know, like, you're strong in your faith. Good. Let's go.
Let's see how
Let's
strong your faith
Yeah.
yeah,
is.
like,
Yeah.
let's go,
Yeah.
because I got to work for you, you know.
Mhm.
And to get in that space where you have to just, it's like it seemed like video games is just a testimony of life. You know, like each level, you know, like once you
Ah.
get comfortable on the level, it's like, oh, where did this challenge come from, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
And it just to strengthen our faith, you know, to strengthen who we are. And then because God is positioning you in a space to do something greater, you know, to touch another life. You know, I probably wouldn't be here, you know, meeting pastor, getting his seeds from him, you know, and even him in the ministry before he started Solomon's Temple, you know, to be a part of that ministry and be a blessing there,
Right.
and to learn stuff there as well, you know, to get him to the space that he's in. You know, and it's all like, it's a domino effect, you
Yeah.
know, him starting and me going, you know, help push me. So it's, you know, you're and if anybody listening, you know, it's that prophetic moment. Anybody listening, you know, if hearing this message, you know, you feel like, why am I going over there? You know, you 9 times out of 10, you're going over there for someone else. You know, you're going over there to be a blessing. You're going over
Mhm.
there to help a company. You know, not to say you're not going to get anything out of it, because you're going to
Oh,
get a
yeah.
tremendous value out of it. But you know,
That's just
it's
not the
not just
main
about
focus.
you
Yeah.
though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny. I've been in this mindset of, you know, as a believer, it's like we got to get out of the selfish mindset. It's not about you. You know, God needs you to fit in the right space, in the right piece, because there's things He needs to get done, and you're holding stuff up here. I need you here so
Yeah.
things can flow, because I got
Here's
something else I need done. But if you're not there to speak to those folk, then they're not going to run and do what I need them to do, because you're the
and
confirmation of what I need to get done. So
you
know
know,
that
you know,
it's not about you. You're the piece.
you know,
I don't even know where we're going with this, but this is
you know,
where
but
we at.
that's fine. That's fine. Pastor talked about making decisions
Yes.
that are uh that to the flesh and in the moment feels and sounds and looks gut wrenching,
Yes.
and it's inconceivable, because you know everything is good and and you're comfortable and you're safe in the now,
Right.
but you get this new assignment where it's like, well, I'm uprooting stuff, and you know, you have this, well, I hate to use the word fear, but it sort of applies here. The fear of the unknown takes
Right.
over.
Right.
And he was 100% correct in, you know, those in coming to those times when you make the decision to move. It can rock you,
Mm-hmm.
because you get to learn a lot of things, not just
Mhm.
about yourself, but about other people.
Yeah.
Uh, Going from place to place is one type of decision. Another that I faced is
Right.
actually staying where you are, actually
Yeah.
embracing the not yet,
Yes.
or embracing the no, this is where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So about last summer, I had an opportunity to actually go from one company to another. And the opportunity on paper was better.
Mm.
On paper was better. uh, I would have had made more money. I would have stayed where I was. Things would have been great. But learning those decisions of thinking that I know everything,
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. And I got an offer, and I was accepted to this position.
Okay.
But before I said I'll take it, I said, you know what? Let me talk to the missus about this. So she and I talked. She knew about the company a lot longer than I do, than I have. She knew the inner workings of it. And she said, nah, the culture there
Wow.
would eat you alive. Not saying that you weren't tough enough to handle it, but you're at a great space now where you're starting to flourish. You're starting to get to do certain things
Right.
that you were brought there to do. I'm not sure you're going to get that chance over there because I know how the climate is.
Right.
Yeah.
So I ultimately did not take the position.
Right.
Now, what I ended up getting was I got a raise. I got put in a position where I'm sort of been trained into a different role, a higher role, a more responsibility type of role.
Right.
And talking about seeding your future in your present. So when I got the job, when I got the position that I currently hold now, it was basically like this. I did not set foot in the building.
Mm.
It was in a Zoom meeting. And it was with the two future managers I was going to work under. And they were blown away because they saw this. And both of them had ideas, but they just couldn't get the ball rolling and get it off the ground.
Right.
And I understand that sometimes, things just didn't happen. It was like the not yet. So cut to March, where I have a meeting with my current manager.
Right.
And we're supposed to set aside goals that we personally want to do for the year. Well,
Mm-hmm.
for the 2 years before even this one, I said, okay, I'm going to produce a podcast. Just
Right.
put that out there, let them know,
Right.
And I in 2019, I felt that wasn't going to happen. In 2020, it was before the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
became the big thing. I felt it wasn't going to happen, but I felt the inertia starting to go in that direction.
Nice.
But 2021, I was like, they may still say no, not yet, but
Right.
let's see.
Let's see. Right.
So I see this bright, wide grin on my manager's face when we have this meeting online, obviously. And she said, "Okay, let's go over your goals for the year. Tell me one of them."
Right.
So I said, "Yeah, well, you see one of them that I'm going to want to do, and that is to produce a podcast. I think it's an opportunity that I see that we can do one,
Right.
and I think we can serve the markets that we do."
Right.
And I finished saying that, it was silence.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw this wider grin come upon my manager's face. And then the following words she said was so affirming to the decision that I made to stay only 7 months prior, when she said,
"Wow,
I'm glad that you said that, because that is one of my yearly goals too."
Nice.
wow."
That's good.
And I learned in that decision back in August of last year that I was like, okay, so that was a not yet moment, and it was for this moment right here.
Yeah.
Right. That's awesome.
And I can't tell you how much on cloud nine for the job I have felt because of that.
Right.
Ever since then, and for those who don't know, I'm now in 2 episodes into a podcast that I do at work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's been a wonderful ride, and it was all served by making the right decision,
Right.
by seeking counsel before I actually made the decision.
Right.
Yeah.
And by
By
looking at
doing
the
what? You sought what? Say that again.
oh,
You sought
I
what?
sought wisdom
Yes.
in making the decision
Yes, indeed.
because the experience that I had in not seeking wisdom in making decisions,
Right.
thinking that okay, I know what's best for me, and
Yeah.
falling
Yeah,
flat
so
on my
like-
face.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But in this case, I wanted to make the right decision before I leapt, and I did.
Right.
And now the consequences of that decision are good, and it's
Wow.
paying
Yeah.
off. And it's funny, Heatwave did a song, and the song is mind-blowing decisions causes head-on collisions. And a lot of these decisions in life are mind-blowing.
Wow.
And of course, the song is talking about it in a romantic sense, but in a life sense, nothing
Yeah.
could be truer
Right.
because you see life shift.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah.
not just yours. You actually see other people's lives shift
Wow.
because of a decision you had to make about yourself.
Yeah, man, I felt that release. Wow.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when you know you made the right decision and you see it
Yeah.
pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you have fed, like you said, Pastor, you have fed into your future in the
Yeah.
present, and you see the seeds of it slowly germinating and growing, and then you benefit from it.
Yeah.
Because when you planted that seed, you did everything possible to germinate and make it grow and blossom into what it is now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We suffer from short-sightedness.
Yes.
Whew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We
Say
fail to
that
see it far
again,
off.
sir.
You have to have the patience
Right.
for the long-term impact,
Right.
you know, and too many of us are searching for the low-hanging fruit. We're short-sighted,
Right.
you know. So I'm grateful, man. I hear you, man. And Gibson was like, he had the same opportunity. I tell you, brother, I have the same testimony on it could all change today, but it cannot change what God did.
Right.
Sure they cannot.
You know what I mean?
That's good.
That's
right.
the thing that people have to understand.
Right.
You know,
Short-sighted paralysis. Right.
everybody lives through seasons. Cheryl said that her husband wanted to move to Atlanta in
In
88.
88. Yeah.
You said, and your son got asthma, and you felt like that
Felt
was
like
the
it was
easiest
the
decision in the
decision.
world. You're saying Cheryl's not in Atlanta.
She's in California still.
They're in California.
Yeah.
So you're saying you stayed in California because your son got asthma? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so. I
Yeah,
think
that's-
yeah. That may be.
Yeah.
That's what sounds like what Auntie's saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my youngest two daughters, you know, had zero respiratory issues in California.
Wow.
And within a month of getting to Georgia, they were both sitting over at Children's Healthcare in the asthma room.
My hope was in California. Gotcha.
Yeah. Asthma became a part of our life when we moved to Georgia.
Right.
That was
Wow.
crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to talk about something that would have made you want to move back to Cali? Going back to Cali.
That would be one. I don't think so.
So, right. Yeah, but you know, it's funny that you say that. Like, you know, they are the consequences to actions.
Yeah.
But those consequences sometimes are distractions, you know, to what the goal that we're trying to reach. Because there's always a loss, you know, when you're leaving something behind, you know, there's always a change in the new space that you go to.
Yeah.
And like you said, Pastor, those moments you're like, did I make the right decision? Should I be here? You know?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's all about, you know, and listen, it's challenging. Like when you feel like you hear it, you know, and, you know, for me, my move was to leave my job, and, you know, you feel like you hear it. You just like, what? You didn't say that. You tripping, you know,
Right.
and like Cole, you know, seeking counsel and just in making those moves that, you know, for me, like, has been a huge blessing. You know, like I got my fam back, my marriage is together because of the decision I made.
Praise
You
God
know,
on that.
and it's
And
crazy
it was a tough decision.
right.
Yeah.
If someone said,
Right.
you know, like I probably would, you
Yeah.
know, like if I was in church, probably said, You leave your job, your family come back together. What?
What?
With how society
What did the
breeds
devil
tells
just say
us,
to me? Like,
You sound like a warlock.
right.
the last thing a family would want me to have is being unemployed. What are you
Right.
talking about?
Right. So that's stepping out. And like I said, it's not immediate though. It's
Right.
not immediate. And
Yeah.
I'm pressing this on somebody's, even hearing in my own ears, but it's not
a
immediate.
slow burn sometimes.
It's,
yeah.
you're planting the seeds of being in a space that you've not been in before, being in a place that had you not made the move, you would not be in. And you gotta just stay in the fight, keep pushing forward, stick to the decision that God has planted in you and just keep pressing forward. And it's you're gonna have a Peter moment. You're gonna look down like, what? And why am I in the middle of the ocean?
Right.
But don't make sure you look back up. Don't quit. Don't give out. Don't give in. You'll win. But stay the course. Stay the course.
Well, you see, right. I think what you're talking about right now,
yes,
is like a lot of this has to do with vocabulary. This is what I learned. This is why words mean everything.
Right.
Because sometimes we're dealing with things and we can't put a name on it. So we don't know how to deal with it. Right. I had to figure out the difference between what you're talking about, AD, is knowing the difference between distraction and distortion. Right?
Okay.
Because a distraction can prevent you from moving forward.
Right.
It's a hindrance to your progress.
Right.
A distortion can just be an unrealistic view. It could be an odd view of something.
Right.
The perspective is off.
Right.
Right. So but you can still move through distortion.
Right.
You have to overcome distraction to keep moving forward.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
And I think we missed that. If you got an unrealistic picture of something, that sends one message and causes you to do something else.
Right.
But a distraction can stop you from doing anything at all.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Good. And sometimes, like you talk about the consequence, like you make a decision, well, I'm going to work this, I'm going to work my marriage, whatever, but you have to deal with the consequences of what led to the break.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
now you got to put in the work. You got to work it out. You got to reconcile. You have to communicate. You got to do this. And you got to deal with flashbacks and all this, whatever it was. You got to work through it. And sometimes, the act of working through that can paint a picture that you don't want to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And I feel like one example is moving here and my daughter's being in the asthma room.
Right.
That's a distraction. That'll stop you.
Right.
Like I'll turn and run back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because now you're messing with the health of my children.
Yes.
But wait, if God moved you,
that means he provided.
Didn't God see this coming?
That way.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
He provided that way for whatever would come. Yeah.
Right. So if God moved you and God saw this coming, that means God has an answer for this.
That's right.
Right. Or he's going to teach you how to move forward in spite of it.
Rest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
That's the stuff that we have to think about. That's the counting up the cost. And people think you count up the cost on the front end. You have to count it up all the way through the process.
Right.
Because there are decisions all the way through the process. There's tactical and strategic moves all the way through till you get to your next level. And so there's so much that comes into this, man. I like, again, Cheryl, she was like, yeah, I wanted a bigger house,
Right.
Yeah, I get it. I completely understand that. I saw the difference between Sacramento and the Bay Area.
Right. Wow.
Right. But I also saw all the people from the Bay Area moving to Sacramento before I left. Right. Move to Georgia. Yeah, you can get twice as much house in Georgia as you can get in California, in Northern California.
Right.
And then the property values in Georgia shot up.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I mean, it like right now, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a seller's market in Georgia right now.
Right.
Oh, yeah, same
Absolute
here in
insane.
Tennessee.
Yeah, people are paying $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more for homes right now in this market.
And sometimes sight unseen.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So decisions like, should I sell my house?
Right.
Get that money?
Right.
Wait, trying to sell my house means I got to find another place to live. And if the
Right.
market is that crazy,
Yeah. How you gonna get
every
the value?
time I get in profit from my house is going to go into the next house.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You know?
But it's funny you talk about distractions
people
when
to
you
a
make
house, right?
decisions. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny you talk about distractions when it comes to decisions. We see this often, and it's almost like it's a cliche thing when we see it in entertainment, and it's even more cliches when we see it on social media. The constant "I could do better all by myself" mentality, and when it comes to romance,
Right.
and people don't realize just from that statement alone, you're making decisions based on a distraction of your past.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and even possibly your present,
Right.
because you're probably still making the bad decisions of choosing or being chosen by someone who's not worthy of you.
Right.
And the bitterness starts to seep in, it starts to grow, starts to fester, and bitterness has no room when it comes to making a sound decision.
Right.
Well, you saying something. You think about it, because what you just described is distortion, because the picture,
distraction leading to distortion. Beautifully said. Yes.
Right.
It's the picture that looks foul, because you're not going to stop seeing people. You just not going to go all the way. You just not make permanent decisions.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because of the picture.
Right.
You know? And so now you're moving forward, but you're moving forward jaded.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Right.
So now you're the one who's being dishonest.
Right.
Because someone will come into a relationship with you with permanent intentions.
Yeah.
And you playing a game because you have no intention.
None.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And
you have no
is,
permanent
intentions.
Maybe you'd be lucky if it's seasonal, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. It's a good conversation, guys. We appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us. So I'm making the right choices, right decisions, not letting your choice or a choice that you feel or that God has led you to distract or distort. Today's words are distraction or distortion. But I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you share, tag somebody. I'm sure you're thinking about somebody right now. Just tag them in there. Just put them in there. Just put them in there.
And Richard, today it's all about investments.
Right.
It's all about investments. I told my wife, I don't want to buy another house to live in. I hope and pray that I go from this house to my grave. No, that's not my prayer, but that's my hope. No. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to do that.
Right, where you can extend the footprint of the house and make this thing. Right. Thank you, Mama Corey. Appreciate you. He said, ouch. Let's see. Let me make sure. I like this comment from Richard, though. He said, frustrations are devastating. Distractions is a huge enemy of progression and passion and achievement of your goals.
100%,
absolutely,
Richard.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Very good. All right. So we appreciate you guys being here, rocking with us, being a part of the broadcast. Make sure you stay connected. Join our community. Text LWN to 84576, as well as go to brotherslegacy.com and become a partner and member and stay connected on a newer level. When we start going out and being more local, you will find out how you can be a part of that movement as well. We're making some big moves, so stay tuned this September. I plan on doing a lot more out of this space than in, and we'll keep you updated. So like I said, join the community, be a partner and member. Oh yeah, make sure you get a shirt. Make sure you represent the brothers by picking up a shirt. Go to the www.brothersoflegacy.com. Audio shirt today. All right, so we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate you. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. We're gonna continue this line of questioning and topic. So stay tuned. Make sure you, like I said, share, tag somebody, inbox everybody, and always know we love you, but God loves you more. Stay safe. Wear those masks, vaccinated or not. Wear those masks.
Sir.
Just a note. It's Labor Day. It's a holiday.
Yes,
and AD had us working.
You get time and a half.
Wait, what's the time and a half times 0?
All right. What is it? Nothing from nothing. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Later. As always, we love you. Know that God loves you more. Stay safe. Thank you guys for hanging, being with us. Sharing is caring. All of my replay peoples that watch in the background that I know see this show, I appreciate you as well. Oh, that's not what I